Hello, my name is Jussara de Magalhães. This presentation summarizes my quantitative mini project examining the relationship between English language proficiency level and the Texas Success Initiative assessment scores among Level 3 ESL students in a Texas community college. The study explored whether English proficiency significantly influences performance on a standardized assessment used to determine college readiness. The problem addressed in this study is that many ESL students struggle to achieve passing scores on Texas Success Initiative assessment. Because TSI scores are used to make important placement decisions, it is important to understand whether these scores reflect academic readiness or whether language proficiency may influence outcomes. The purpose of this study was to examine the relationship between English level proficiency and TSI scores among Level 3 students in a Texas community college. The study was guided by one research question. The question asked whether a statistically significant relationship exists between English level proficiency and TSI assessment scores among Level 3 ESL students enrolled in a Texas community college. The null hypothesis stated that no statistically significant relationship exists between English proficiency level and TSI assessment scores. The alternative hypothesis stated that a significantly relationship does exist between these variables. These hypotheses were tested using Pearson correlation analysis. This study employed a quantitative non-experimental correlational design. The design was appropriate because the study examined naturally occurring relationships without manipulating variables. The theoretical framework was Cummings' academic language proficiency theory, which suggests that academic language skills influence success in educational settings. The target population consisted of approximately 1,200 Level 3 ESL students enrolled across 11 campuses in a Texas community college system. Archival institutional records served as the primary source of data. English language proficiency levels were identified through AccuPlacer ESL placement records, while TSI assessment scores served as the dependent variable. These measures provided objective and standardized data for analysis. Data collection began after obtaining institutional approval and informed consent. Archival records were used to collect AccuPlacer placement levels and TSI scores. Participants' confidentiality was maintained throughout the process. The study proposed stratified random sampling across 11 campuses with an estimated sample size of 286 students. Pearson's correlation coefficient was used to determine whether statistically significant relationship between English proficiency levels and TSI scores were significant. Statistical significance was evaluated using the alpha level of 0.05. If the probability value was less than 0.05, the null hypothesis would be rejected. Otherwise, the null hypothesis would not be rejected. The results produced a Pearson correlation coefficient of 0.07 with a probability value of 0.281. This indicates a very weak positive relationship between English proficiency level and TSI assessment scores. Because the p-value exceeded 0.05, the relationship was not statistically significant. The findings indicate insufficient evidence to conclude that English proficiency levels was significantly related to TSI performance. Although language proficiency is often viewed as an important factor in assessment outcomes, this study suggests that a proficiency alone may not explain differences in TSI scores. Other influences, such as prior educational experience, academic support service, and study preparation with testing, may play a larger role. Several recommendations emerge from this study. Practitioners should evaluate student readiness using multiple indicators rather than relying solely on TSI scores. Policymakers should examine whether current placement practices adequately address the needs of English language learners. Future researchers should use larger samples, collect authentic educational data, and examine additional factors such as motivation, socioeconomic status, study habits, and access to academic resources. Thank you for your time and attention. This concludes the presentation of my quantitative mini project examining English language proficiency and TSI assessment performance among Level 3 ESL students in a Texas community college.